Most people think the most valuable resource on Earth is oil. They're wrong. In 2026, the real power isn't held by those who pump crude, but by those who control 17 obscure elements at the bottom of the periodic table. These are the rare earths. Without them, the modern world, from your smartphone to the F-35 fighter jet, simply stops working. Welcome to the rare earth war. For decades, we've lived in a world where one nation built the stadium and wrote the rules. China currently controls roughly 58% of global mining, but that's not the real story. The real leverage is in the midstream. They control over 90% of the world's refining capacity. If you dig these minerals up in Australia or Texas, they almost always have to travel to China to be turned into the magnets that actually power your life. But the tide is turning. We are currently in the middle of a massive geopolitical shift. As we navigate through May 2026, the Mineral Alliance is racing to break a 30-year monopoly. Is it a desperate gamble or the start of a new industrial era? To understand the war, you have to understand the material. Take neodymium and dysprosium. These aren't just names on a chart. They are the supervitamins of the energy transition. They create permanent magnets that are light enough for a drone but powerful enough to drive a 5-ton Tesla. China's advantage isn't just that they have the dirt, it's that they've perfected the dirty, complex chemical process of separating these elements into the pure oxides you see here. In late 2025, Beijing flexed this muscle. By tightening export controls, they essentially put the global tech industry on a rare earth clock. That clock is ticking toward November 2026. If the West hasn't built its own processing hubs by then, we could face a total freeze on the materials needed for everything from wind turbines to cruise missiles. Washington has finally entered panic mode, but they brought a $12 billion checkbook. This is Project Vault. Launched in early 2026, it's a massive strategic reserve designed to insulate the U.S. from supply shocks. For the first time, we aren't just stockpiling oil, we're stockpiling the building blocks of the future. But the U.S. can't do it alone. The secret weapon of 2026 is vertical integration. We've seen massive deals, like the $2.8 billion partnership to bring Brazilian ore directly into American magnet plants. We are finally seeing the ore-to-magnet process happen entirely outside of China's reach. This is the Mineral Alliance in action. 50 nations, from India to Saudi Arabia, building a secondary supply chain from scratch. So, where does the balance of power sit today? China still holds the processing crown, but their grip is slipping. The cost of building these new plants is astronomical, and the environmental regulations in the West are strict. However, the risk of total dependence is now seen as a greater threat than the cost of independence. The scale is tipping, but it's a slow, heavy move. The rare earth war isn't just about rocks and chemicals. It's about who controls the 21st century. By the time that November 2026 deadline hits, we will know if the West has done enough to survive a blockade. The era of the passive customer is over. The era of resource nationalism is here. The question remains, as a consumer, would you pay a premium for a supply chain you can trust? Let us know in the comments. I'm Kitu, and this is the Invisible Web. Thanks for watching.